Hi there, Andy Oliver here on day 6 of the London Film Festival. We're here tonight for the UK premiere of Ferzan Özbek's Italian movie Loose Cannons, a delightful comedy. We'll be speaking to the director himself, an Italian actress, Nicole Grimaldi. You can see all the interviews here exclusively on Premiere Scene. From Superbad to Superdad, a supervillain that wants to steal the moon. Yes, we're at the European premiere of Chris Meledandri's new movie, Despicable Me, the animated comedy classic. Yes, my name's Andy, and we're going to hopefully be speaking to some of the cast and crew here on the yellow carpet tonight. Goes with the movie, stick with it. And you can see all the interviews exclusively here on premierscene.net. What's it like to do a part where you can go to work in your pyjamas every day?
Very, very nice. Really fun. And you know, the script is really funny, and I love the story. I thought the animation turned out great, so it's just a pleasure all the way through.
And now the film's major cinematic influence is Hong Kong action movie director John Woo. It's all a long way from the Atari, Pac-Man and Asteroid games of Mark Wahlberg's youth. He was just glad to be getting home after some hardcore publicity rounds. You see yourself doing a lot more work behind the camera as it was in front of it? You know,
I'm very grateful for the opportunity to produce a little. I'm stoked that anyone cares what I think. Yeah. But as far as directing, I can't imagine I'd ever do it, because even to this day, 20 years into it, I still don't really understand how that works and how you set the cameras up and all that kind of thing. So
you learned from some of the best, like Gerard Depardieu, of course.
Right. I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate, and you know, Gerard was such a great support and such so wise. I mean, he was really really good to me and very supportive and taught me a lot.
Worked with some great directors, like of course Stephen Frears, British director, and Mike Newell. How does Mike Lee actually compare?
Well, all those guys, Stephen and Mike and Mike Newell, they all, in a way, their film careers started with Play for Today, and that was my introduction to working in front of a camera as well. It's on Play for Today on BBC. That's where the British film industry lived for many years. So they all work in very, very different ways, but that's what's wonderful about directors. They don't know how other directors work, because they only see themselves at work in a way. So they're all unique, and it's all exciting. How
is this compared to your other roles?
It's difficult. It's so difficult to compare parts. I mean, the one thing that I'm grateful for is that I've had so many opportunities to work with so many wonderful directors and talented actors, so this was no exception. I was so happy to be working with Lisa and Mark Ruffalo and Nanette. It was great. When
time slowed down and you could see bullets in flight. The phrase is now a registered trademark of Warner Brothers, but bullet time began way before all of that in the Max Payne video games. With lots of roles on the table, how do you choose a role these days?
I think nowadays I just have to, you know, there's different ways of choosing a role. Sometimes you do it because you need to pay the mortgage, and sometimes you do it because you really, really, really enjoyed the script, you know, and that's what I did with this one. That's what I did with Alice Creed, and that's what I'm trying to do more and more now. So
I've done a lot from obviously a lot of British directors, Mike Newell, Guy Ritchie, now Stephen Frears.
Yeah, Stephen Frears is unbelievable. He's a genius, and I was quite sort of intimidated working with him, but when you get to know him, he's so, you know, bumbling and humble, and you know, but a genius. I mean, you can't even put your finger on what it is he does that sets him apart. And you know, in somebody else's hands, maybe the film would have turned out to be a little bit too twee, or you know, wouldn't have the right level of darkness, or you know, it's a very, very fine line, and he just could see that, you know.
How does the beautiful Gemma Arterton compare
to the rest of them?
Oh, beautiful, of course.
Very well indeed. No, she's gorgeous, Gemma. Absolutely perfect to work with. Very, very talented, and kind of brought a lot of joy to the set every day, and kind of added to the very laid back and relaxed atmosphere that was on set on this film, which it needed to be, because you know, we were all having to, in a way, take quite big risks with these what are essentially almost caricatures, because they're from a comic book, but you know, it was important that they were truthful and real. And with someone like Stephen at the helm of it, you felt in a very safe hands, and with someone like Gemma there all the time, it was great. We had a lovely time.
The plot has Payne searching for his family's killers. He finds the answer may lie in a drug that turns soldiers into killing machines. But for the rest of us, it summons up winged horsemen that may or may not be hallucinations. Hi everyone, Andy Oliver here in Leicester Square for Mike Leigh's acclaimed drama Another Year. This movie is actually the centrepiece gala presented by the Mayor of London, Mr Boris Johnson, tonight. We'll be hoping to catch up with some of the cast of the movie, and you can see all this exclusively here at Premier Scene. Your process of constructing your stories and how you go about writing them, very brief.
You know, I collaborate with my fellow filmmakers, the actors, the crew, and we make up films. We don't have a script. We build the whole thing in a very... We proceed what we do with a lot of preparation and development, and then we get out there and make up a movie, basically.
Is it a nice feeling to be able to come home onto the set with so many familiar faces that you work with so many times over the years?
Yeah, I mean, there's some real old chums taking part in Another Year, and it's great, you know. I mean, I love to work with new actors, but coming, you know, the old team is always healthy, and, you know, because they're character actors, and therefore they don't just play themselves, the commitment is always to dig deeper and to go somewhere else, and not just to repeat ourselves, you know, and that's what we do.